Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create and manipulate primitive objects in Maya. Alright? Now, what are primitive objects? Primitive objects are those formed of basic shapes such as the sphere, cube, cylinder, cone, torus, pipe, etc. Every model begins to take its form from one of these primitive objects. We merge one or more of these primitive objects together to make a more complex object. Alright? There are many primitive objects available in Maya. You can either create them from the polymodeling shelf or by going to the Create menu and then Polygon Primitives and then selecting any of the primitive objects from this list. One important thing that you should take a note of is this interactive creation mode. When this option is checked, you can click and drag on the grid and set the dimensions of the object to how much you want right during the creation process. Whereas, if you keep that option unchecked, you will always create an object with the default size, such as of 1 unit by 1 unit by 1 unit. However, you will always be able to change its dimensions right after you have created the object. Alright? Now, to create a sphere, you have to click on the sphere icon and then click and drag on the grid to set its radius to how bigger or smaller you want the sphere to be. To create a cube, you have to click on the cube icon and then click and start dragging on the grid to create the base and then drag up to pull the height. Whereas if you would like to create a pipe, you have to go to the Create menu, then Polygon Primitives and then select Pipe. Now you'd have to click and drag on the grid to first create its base and then drag up to set its height and then drag again left or right to set its thickness. Alright? You have to follow the similar process for creating all of the primitive objects in your scene. Alright? Now, if we go towards the toolbox panel, we'll find here few tools using which we can manipulate the objects in 3D scene. The first three are the selection tools, using which objects in different ways, such as the selection tool is used to click on objects to select them and also drag a rectangular marquee to select multiple objects together. Below the selection tool, we have this lasso tool, which is used to select multiple objects by dragging an irregular marquee around them, like this. Alright? And below that, we have the paint selection tool, using which we can actually select the components of any 3D object by painting with it like a brush, like this. Alright? Now below all of these selection tools, we have a move tool, using which we can move objects anywhere in the 3D space. When the move tool is active, if you select an object, you will find these handles pointing towards X, Y and Z direction. You can select and drag these handles along the axis each of them is pointing to. The handles are color coded, in which the red one points towards the X axis, the green one points towards the Y axis and the blue one points towards the Z axis. There are also little square handles in between these primary handles. Using these, you can move objects on a particular plane, such as the XY plane, the ZX plane, and the YZ plane. There is one last handle at the center of the manipulator in the form of a little blue square. Using this, you can move the object anywhere in the 3D space without constraining to any particular axis. Alright? Below the Move tool, we have this Rotate tool, using which we can rotate objects. We have handles similar to that of the Move tool, but in the form of circles, with same colors denoting the different axes. You can rotate an object along any axis as you wish by selecting and dragging these rotation handles. There is also another handle that is used to rotate an object perpendicular to the point of view right from where we are looking at the object, and that is this yellow handle present outside of all the other handles. Alright? Now we have this Scale tool, using which we can scale up or down any selected object. This tool has similar handles like the Move tool. You can scale up or down in any particular direction or along any particular plane. Or you can do it from the center to scale up or down proportionally or uniformly in all the directions. Alright? So this is it. This is how we can create and manipulate primitive objects in Maya. Alright? See you in the next video.